Have you ever noticed how some people in their 80s walk into a room with steady, confident steps, while others the same age struggle just to get up from a chair? It's not luck. It's not just genetics. According to doctors and physical therapists who specialize in aging, there is one simple daily habit that separates seniors who stay mobile and independent from those who slowly lose their strength and end up needing a walker, or worse, a wheelchair. And the wild part is, this habit takes less than 10 minutes a day. And you don't need a gym, you don't need fancy equipment, and you don't need to be in perfect health to start. Stick with me for the next few minutes, because I'm going to walk you through exactly what this habit is, why it works, and how you can start doing it today, even if you've never exercised a day in your life. Let's talk about why your legs matter so much as you age. Most people think about heart health, or memory, or eyesight when they think about getting older. But here's something doctors have been saying for years that most people ignore. Your leg strength is one of the biggest predictors of how long you'll live, and more importantly, how well you'll live. Researchers who study aging have found that the strength in your legs, especially your thigh muscles and your glutes, directly affects your balance, your risk of falling, and your ability to stay independent. Falls are one of the leading causes of serious injury in seniors, and a lot of those falls happen simply because the leg muscles became too weak to catch a stumble before it turns into a fall. So when your legs get weak, it's not just about walking slower. It's about your entire quality of life being at risk. Now, here's the good news. Muscle loss as we age, doctors call it sarcopenia, is not something you just have to accept. It is not inevitable. Studies have shown that seniors who do a specific simple movement every single day can rebuild leg strength at almost any age, even into their 70s, 80s, and 90s. Your body doesn't know how old you are. It only knows whether you're using your muscles or not. And that brings us to the habit doctors keep recommending over and over again. It's called the sit-to-stand exercise. And if you've never heard of it, don't worry, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why physical therapists call it one of the single most powerful things a senior can do for their legs. Here's how it works. You simply sit down in a sturdy chair, one that doesn't wobble, ideally with arms on it for support if you need it. Then, without using your hands if you can help it, you stand all the way up, fully straighten your legs, and then slowly lower yourself back down into the chair with control. That's it. That's the whole movement. Sounds simple, right? But here's why doctors love this exercise so much. It works your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your glutes, and your core, all at the same time. It mimics one of the most important movements you do every single day, getting up from a chair, out of bed, off the toilet, out of the car. When you strengthen this exact movement pattern, you're not just building muscle, you're training your body for real-life independence. The key is consistency, not intensity. Doctors recommend starting with just 5 to 8 repetitions, once or twice a day. If that sounds too easy, that's exactly the point. This isn't about pushing yourself to exhaustion. It's about doing a small amount, every single day, so your muscles never forget how to do this movement well. As you get stronger, you can slowly increase the repetitions, or even hold light weights, or eventually try doing it without using your hands at all. But even if you never progress past the beginner version, doing this daily is enough to make a measurable difference in your strength and balance within just a few weeks. Let me tell you about why this specific movement is safer than a lot of other exercises seniors are told to do. A lot of workout advice online involves jumping, running, or high-impact movements that put stress on the knees and hips. Those can actually be dangerous for someone who already has joint pain or arthritis. The sit-to-stand exercise is different because it's low impact, it's controlled, and you're always near a stable chair, so the risk of falling during the exercise itself is extremely low. This is exactly why physical therapists recommend it, not just for healthy seniors, but even for people recovering from surgery, hip replacements, or long hospital stays. It's considered one of the safest, most effective strengthening movements for older adults, period. Now, let's talk about something most people don't realize. Your leg strength doesn't just affect your legs, it affects your brain. There is a growing body of research linking lower body strength to cognitive health in seniors. Doctors believe this is because staying mobile keeps blood flowing properly throughout your body, including your brain, and it reduces the sedentary time that's been linked to memory decline. So this simple daily habit isn't just about avoiding a wheelchair down the road. It might actually be helping protect your memory and your mental sharpness at the same time. When you think about it that way, 10 minutes a day starts to feel like one of the best investments you can make in your entire future. I also want to address something a lot of seniors worry about, which is pain. A lot of people avoid exercise altogether because they're afraid it will hurt their knees or make existing pain worse. But here's what doctors want you to understand. Weak muscles around a joint actually make pain worse over time because the joint has to absorb more stress when the surrounding muscles aren't doing their job. By strengthening your legs gently and consistently, you're actually taking pressure off your knees and hips, not adding to it. Of course, if you have a specific injury or a doctor has given you movement restrictions, always check with them first. But for the vast majority of seniors, this gentle daily movement is not just safe, it's protective. Let's talk about how to actually make this a habit that sticks. Because knowing the exercise is one thing, but actually doing it every day is where most people fall short. Doctors and habit researchers agree on one thing. The easiest way to build a lasting habit is to attach it to something you already do every day. So instead of thinking, I need to remember to exercise, try this instead. Every time you get up from watching TV, do 5 sit-to-stands before you walk away. Every time you get up from the breakfast table, do a few more. You're already standing up dozens of times a day anyway, so why not make a few of those moments count? Within 2 weeks, this becomes automatic, and you won't even have to think about it anymore. I also want to mention progression, because a lot of seniors start strong and then plateau because they never increase the challenge. Once the basic sit-to-stand feels easy, here's how physical therapists recommend leveling up. First, try doing it without using your hands for support. Then, try slowing down the movement, taking 3 to 5 seconds to lower yourself down instead of just dropping into the chair. Then, once that feels comfortable, you can add light ankle weights or hold something with a bit of weight, like a small water bottle or a can of soup while you do the movement. Each of these small progressions keeps your muscles adapting and getting stronger, instead of just staying at the same level forever. Now, I know some of you watching this might be thinking, this sounds too simple to actually make a difference. But that's exactly what makes it so powerful. Doctors aren't recommending complicated routines or expensive equipment because the research consistently shows that consistency beats complexity every single time. The seniors who maintain their strength into their 80s and 90s aren't the ones doing intense workouts. They're the ones doing small, smart movements every single day without fail. This is one of those rare pieces of health advice that is both scientifically backed and incredibly easy to actually follow through on. Before we wrap up, I want you to think about someone in your life who could really benefit from hearing this. Maybe it's a parent, a grandparent, a neighbor, or even yourself. Leg strength isn't something we usually think about until we lose it, and by then, it's much harder to rebuild. But starting today, with just a few minutes and a sturdy chair, you can begin protecting your mobility, your independence, and your future. If this video helped you, do me a favor and share it with someone who needs to hear it, because this simple habit really could be the difference between struggling to get around in your 80s and walking into that room with steady, confident steps just like the people we talked about at the beginning. Take care of your legs today, because they're going to carry you for the rest of your life.